So welcome to the next in a series of sacred art. And here we are looking at the key focal point of this piece of work. And we have this wonderful looking lotus representing, I understand, the soul of Australasia. So can you imagine the soul of Australasia? So this is a combination of countries, souls of countries. Like previously we were looking at the soul of Australia, all that fiery energy, and we think of it now as combined here within this beautiful, delicate looking flower. So just remembering that this is symbolically saying that around the world there are souls engaged individually and in groups in actually working together to create a unified field capable of impression by hierarchy. That's the hierarchy of masters and teachers, wise guides of the race. So this is a rather exciting thing to see. We have this incredible, unusual image really, because we have an image where the master or the teacher is right within the petals, and we see the petals reaching up here into the covering actually virtually the Buddha in the center. So we see a kind of a process that hints to us a process is underway rather than a completed thing. So this Buddha, white Buddha, we wonder who it is. So here we have it unusually placed within the actual lotus, and so it suggests that it's something in progress or something else happening, because it's a completely different style to what we've seen before. We have 4 arms, so we have very definite kind of almost Indian influence perhaps. We see some globes being held here. We see the 4 arms and we wonder what's going to go in the other hands, because they seem to be empty at the moment, remembering that this is in progress, this is a work in progress. We see other 2 globes on the shoulders there of this Buddha. We also see a triangle above this Buddha. So here we have this white Buddha, and it's radiating in a major way. We can see that there's fiery energy. We have this enormous peace, don't we, with the whiteness, with this beauty, with this tranquility on the one hand, and then we have this enormous emission of fiery energy. So we sense that this is something that is activating, perhaps, that's something that is being made to charge up like a turbine or a nuclear power plant of some description. There's a brilliant yellow at center suggesting Buddhic energies, the idea of love and will united through the higher mind. We see the flames as they go up as entering something at the top, which looks to me to be a galaxy of some description. So there's an enormous amount of material here, which is quite unusual for tankas generally. Now, this is meant to represent, as I understand, the soul of Australasia, as I mentioned. And so we have the soul of Australia here included. This is our bias, of course, here, because this is our team at work. And we're trying to understand its true meaning and how meditation on this particular Buddha might help us in some way bring peace, bring harmony, bring prosperity to the whole Australasian relationship. Now, let's deal with this whole thing from its source in terms of what it might mean to us in Australasia. Quite some years ago, and through massive meditation by world groups, there was an experience which was had by a number of people where in the meditative state there was a revelation to do with the next stages for the nations around the world. And so what was actually seen here was this causal body, the soul body, which is the white, beautiful, actually has many colors attached to this particular Buddha. It's beautiful, delicate petals. So there was this experience where at the center of the lotus were groups of senior meditators. So you can just imagine that lots and lots of souls, in other words, senior disciples who are meditating for a very long time, join together to create a causal body, a world group causal body. This is one that represents Australasia, obviously, but there are others, and we'll talk about those in a moment. So in this case, this is Australasia, and in the center of that, we have a group of students, if you like, disciples, chellas, meditating, holding up their hands to a globe. It's as if the jewel within this lotus was available in a way where all of the massed intent, the unified Om, if you like, the sacred word, was being sounded, and this globe appeared to be almost at the fingertips of this lotus. As we were meditating, it was transparent, it turned upon itself in many directions, and it started to sound the Om. And as it sounded the Om, it resonated incredibly, electrifying everything everyone within it. Now, at the time, we did not see the Buddha within it, because the whole entire group was within that process, and this globe here was doing most of the Oming. And so the more deeply we were unified, the more empowered or more powerful the Om from the globe was. The more it spun, and the more it seemed to transmit in all directions. It also made us all into one being, if you like, and we felt the one heart, one mind, one spirit, literally. Completely electrified in the process, and we could hear that we could hear another Om being sounded in the Americas. So if we look here, we'll see this other globe here, and it just represents the same sort of thing, where there was this same process happening. Now that seemed to include both North and South America, so it was not only the United States or America, but it was both North and South. And it also had its own unique Om, if you like. And so these Oms are of course the sacred word, but made up of the ray qualities, ray vibrational qualities of all members of each of the groups. So you can imagine that the soul rays, the personality rays of the nations involved are different. So they had its unique quality. In any case, this people here meditating in the Australasia region, which involves all these countries, including Australia, then are resonated or harmonized with the Om from Americas. And as soon as that became harmonized, we became aware that there was Europe. The European lotus was also doing the same. And so in the end, there was this incredible harmonizing, a resonating, a vibrational unification at the high point of an apex, if you can imagine, of this triangle, which brought all those vibrations together. And so as that they all worked together, then there was this higher note being registered, and even higher energies being sounded. Along with that came a powerful, powerful voice. We don't know who it was or anything like that, but what we do know is it would be some member of the hierarchy who sounded an invocation which resulted in the invocation of the soul of Russia at the time. This is from the time that it comes from, before Russia was made a free place. So really, I mean, Soviet Union was freed, and the Berlin Wall came down at that point. So that's how old this experience is for us. And so we know for a fact from our experience, this is from our perspective, quite a definite correlation with experience of souls of nations can be invoked. Now, not only did that happen, but as this was being sounded, there was an enormous energy coming from higher up, from much, much higher up, hierarchical definitely, if not higher, and a great column of energy came through. Now, there was a rotation of energies which went from one globe to the other, and it created a fleur de lys between them. And in the center of that triangle was this great column, which we'll show you some images of later, which went right into the earth. So it was a hierarchy to earth, and there was a very strong message for the esoteric community, world community, to hold the energy steady as the flux of this birth was happening. And the consequences of that were that we did see soon afterwards a very, very different political state within the Soviet bloc, and the freeing of people, freeing of countries, all that sort of thing. It was very exciting to see the truth of that. So what we have here then is a focus on our part on Australasia, because that is our sense of responsibility for this region. And we're very, very happy to work with anyone interested in working with the unification of East and West in that way. So we're still looking to find out who this wonderful Buddha is, who's associated with it. We're still wondering about whether it is KH, but we're not sure. And we look to explore more.